Howdy everybody. I wanted to make a video basically in response to my own video, the Glock 26 video, as well as kind of really dive into my perspective on some of the things that continually come up on my channel. So the Glock 26 video, if you haven't seen that video, I'll put the link in the description and there'll probably be an annotation on the screen here somewhere. That said, that video was not received very well, and I figured it wouldn't, especially the way I titled it and a lot of the content in the video. I didn't think it was going to be very popular with a lot of people. One of the points that I wanted to cover in that video, which actually, if you really look at the video, it's not that impartial as far as you're talking to the two guns. In that video, one of the guys on my channel was comparing a Glock 26 to an XDS. One of the things that's really unique about my channel over some of the other firearms channels is it's not just my perspective. As of December 2013, I have basically 5 core guys that I do videos with on a regular basis. And with that, you get 5 different perspectives on everything. Personally, I like the Glock platform more than I like the Springfield platform. And I really, really hate the XDS. If you haven't seen my videos on the XDS, I really, really don't like them. I've done a couple different videos and a couple write-ups on my blog, the Breaking Shit blog, on how much I really don't like the XDS. So that's my perspective on that. Now, one of the things that I really want to dig into with this video is why I take issue with Glock. So the reason I take issue with Glock is I feel as though Generation 4 Glocks are being sold to you under the Glock name, and they're an inferior product than they have been putting out in the past. And one of the users on YouTube left a comment that really resonated with me, and basically what this person said is, Spectre, you need to use Generation 3 Glocks, because those are the Glocks that Glock users stand by, not Generation 4. And I really thought about that for a minute, and it really resonated with my mindset on Glock, which is Glock produced pretty decent firearms. And that's honestly why I own this Glock, because I wanted a piece of that. I wanted something that was super reliable, and I started making these Glock videos initially as Glock promotion videos. Who doesn't want to see somebody dunk their Glock in something and have it work? I mean, it's a great thing. Turns out I have a Generation 4 Glock, and they're just not the quality build that Glock is known for. So I started thinking about this, and people adamantly stand behind even the Generation 4 Glocks, and I'm like, where is this coming from? I mean, people have been leaving death threats in my email over a couple of these videos that I've made. And people are just indoctrinated on this Glock myth, if you will. And I started doing some research, and this is what I find. So what has Glock done? Yes, they used to produce great firearms, but what they really have done is they've created their own myth and their own marketing schemes. If you look at law enforcement, which is their big marketing entity that they use law enforcement to market their Glocks. I forget what the figure is, but some large percentage of law enforcement officers use Glocks. When they go into a law enforcement agency and they're trying to win a contract with these agencies, they drop the price of their product super low for law enforcement officers relative to the other firearms manufacturers, and they give them a replacement after so many rounds on that particular firearm. If you are a law enforcement officer that doesn't make very much money because your city, state, or the federal government chooses not to pay you a livable wage, of course you're going to pick the lower end, the one that costs the least. Add to that the majority of law enforcement officers do not train with their weapons outside of qualifications. If you're one of the If you're one of the officers that does train hard outside of qualifications, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking your training to the next level in case I need to call you. But that said, if you are one of those people, you know in your departments that you have people that never fire their weapon outside of qualification. And if you're a law enforcement officer, I challenge you to go ahead and post in the comments below and confirm the fact that you know people in your departments that never fire their weapons, ever. That's a discussion for another day. But so basically what Glock has done is they've generated this pool of people who are using their Glocks, and we as American citizens look up to our law enforcement officers and our military personnel. It's just the American way. That's what we do. We say, hey, the cops use this. That's good enough for them. Why isn't it good enough for me? Sure, I'm going to buy it. Makes sense. However, because of the fact that the majority of law enforcement officers do not train hard outside of qualifications, means that Glock can really sneak in an inferior product on them, and really nobody notices. Especially because the majority of training occurs at indoor ranges or closed ranges where there aren't a lot of elemental interferences like snow, rain, dirt, things of that nature. So then Glock comes out and says 70% or 80%, or I don't even know what the number is, of law enforcement officers use this weapon system. You should too. And you buy it. And what Glock has done is they've generated this perception of their weapon system as the most infallible weapon system in the world, which it is not. It is just as reliable as any other handgun platform, modern handgun platform out there. But what they've done is they've generated this perception of their weapon system and then pushed it on you because law enforcement officers use their gun because they're given a discount on this weapon system. I find that disingenuous on Glock's part. And then they come out with an inferior product and sell it to you, and and they counted on it, they drug you in, and they got you. I don't think that's fair. So going back to the gentleman's comment on you should use Gen 3 Glocks. No, I'm not using Gen 3 Glocks, I'm using Gen 4 Glocks. Because Gen 3 Glocks work great. I have had several experiences with Gen 3 Glocks, and the only real malfunction that I can recall is when one of the individuals using the Glock Gen 3, I think it was a 17, was using 40 caliber magazines in it. And it still functioned pretty well. It had one malfunction. That's pretty good to me. So, I don't hate Glocks. I carry one right here. Home carrying, Glock 17, Gen 4, in my Forest City Tactical holster. Great holsters, check those out. However, as of right now, Generation 4 quality is what Glock considers its quality standard. And I don't think that that's acceptable. And I don't think that you should either. So, I don't hate Glock.